Hi guys, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to review how I'm getting on with my 26 to read in 2026. So if you were here at the start of the year, I filmed a video to pick 26 books that I am going to prioritise and read in 2026. And those books might be books that are new releases that I'm really excited to get to. They might be books that I have been avoiding and have been on my TBR for far too long. They might be books that are new that I'm just so excited about that I have to read them this year, so I wanted to include them on the list. Or they might just be books that have kind of been there for a little while and I just know I need a bit of a push to get to them. So without further ado, I'm going to recap what the 26 books were, and then we are going to talk about the ones that we have read, ones we're in the middle of, ones we've got left to read. So the 26 books were, I've got my laptop here to help me: The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and Sunrise on the Reaping, all by Suzanne Collins. Finale and Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. The Heartstopper Volume 6 by Alice Osman. The Daisy Chain Flower Shop by Laurie Gilmore. We Used to Live Here by Myris Kielwehr. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. The Quiet Neighbour by J.D. Barker. Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. Anxious People by Frederick Backman. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. The Wedding People by Alison Espat. A Tide of Treason by A.B. Daniels Anachi. Homecoming by Luann Goldie. Falling Embers by Catherine Coles. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Evenings and Weekends by Osin McKenna. Room by Emma Donoghue. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. And finally, The Correspondence by Virginia Evans. That was my full extensive list. So I've got some great news. Obviously, we're around halfway through the year, so I needed to get about 13 books done. And I've actually managed to complete 16 books, and I'm in the middle of one. So within the next few weeks, I should have had 17 books of my 26 to read in 2026 done. So what are the 9 books then that we haven't touched yet, and kind of giving you a little bit of an idea as to when we're going to get to them or why we've not got to them yet. So we'll go through those first, and then I will talk through all the books that I have read. So Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I have been reading the books kind of one a month, and I'm waiting for Sunrise on the Reaping to come out in the same style as the books that I do have, so I will get to them soon. Hopefully I will get to that one soon, hopefully. Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. I have the audiobook now, and I plan to listen to that one when my Spotify audiobook hours come back in next month, so that one should be done relatively soon. Heartstopper Volume 6 isn't out until June or July time. It's out in the summer this year, so it's not out yet. The Daisy Chain Flower Shop has come out this month that I'm filming, and I'm gonna again listen to that one when my audiobook hours get renewed on Spotify next month, so that one should be being done really soon. The Quiet Neighbour by J.D. Barker is on my Kindle. I haven't got there yet. Anxious People by Frederick Backman, again on my Kindle. I haven't got there yet. I've been focusing a lot on my physical TBR, so the TBRs might change a little bit to accommodate for that. Falling Embers by Catherine Coles, again another one on my Kindle which I haven't got to yet. Wicked by Gregory Maguire. I was meant to read this month, but I got the audiobook for it because it's quite a long book. I'm a bit intimidated for it. I was like, right, I'll get the audiobook. I got the audiobook for it, started listening to it, and the audiobook was in German, so we will be getting another version of that audiobook and listening to that one soon. Then we've got The Reappearance by Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, and that one is also on my Kindle, and I haven't got to it yet. So basically, on here what we've learned is they're either not out yet or they're on my Kindle, and I need to prioritise getting some Kindle reads in my TBR. So the book that I'm in the middle of is The Wedding People by Alison Espat. I have barely started it. I am slightly further on than this because I do have the audiobook and I have been listening to it, but not by much. So I have started this one, but I'm not that far into it, and so we will be getting further along. I do hope to finish it within the next couple of weeks, and it is in a video that you guys will see, so stay tuned for that one. In fact, that video might actually go up before this one, so you might already know my thoughts, but time of filming, I am partway through that one. So now let's get into the 16 books I have absolutely completely finished. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look down the list, find the ones that are on my Kindle that I read that I don't own physically, speak about them first, and then we can run through all the books I've got in front of me. So starting, the first book that I read that was on my Kindle is Finale by Stephanie Garber. I have it on my Kindle as well as I listen to a lot of it on the audiobook. I am in a reading slump to end all reading slumps at the moment, and I've just not been feeling the urge or the desire to read. So with that, I have really leaned into audiobooks. I'm wanting to take a lot of time sitting down, listening to audiobooks and kind of consuming content that way. So I ended up kind of battling with trying to read it on my Kindle and really like dive into it and listen to the audiobook. And I just ended up really enjoying the audiobook, flew through it and really like connected with the story a lot better that way. What I will say is the first book, absolutely incredible, blew my mind, loved. Moving on from that, kind of did let me down a little bit. I kind of lost touch with the story. Was it because I didn't read them back to back? Potentially. Or was it just because the first book was so unique and the story, and it got me kind of like gripped, and then I just didn't really care moving forward. The character's point of view changed as well in the second book, and then it had a different switch in the third book. I just didn't care as much. I am very intrigued to read Spectacular because I've heard it's a little bit like a Christmassy style novella where we see the characters kind of now where they are, and that would be really interesting because I do have a connection with the characters and I do just kind of want to see them have their like happily ever after. And I am very excited to read Once Upon a Broken Heart because I have heard that a lot of people's that's their favourite trilogy, but I wanted to read Caraval first. Then I listened to The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I really liked it. At the time of listening to it, I thought like I've got a lot from this, I'm taking a lot from this, it's really good, it's really enjoyable, it's kind of got some theories in there that I really enjoy. And then kind of the longer it's been since I listened to it, I've kind of just forgotten a lot of what she says, and I feel like a lot of it is kind of as well, I don't know, it's not a one-size-fits-all scenario, and I did enjoy it when I was listening to it. I have taken some things away from it, but I feel like with any self-help book, you take away what you need to take away from that book in that moment. So in that moment, I took away the bits that I needed, and I could listen to it next year. I could listen to it in like 3 months' time and take away other bits and pieces. So do I recommend it? Yes, if you need it for that time. I feel like I enjoyed it a lot more because at the moment I am in a little bit of a rut, so I needed it for that time. But did I necessarily think it was the best self-help book I've ever read? Then we've got Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. That was my book club pick for February, and all of us went into it a little bit apprehensive. None of the girls and I have ever really been into dark romance, and I have heard it's quite a comedic dark romance, and so all of us read it. I really enjoyed it. The girls really enjoyed it. It's spicy, let's put it that way. It is a spicy book, but I did really enjoy it. It has got comedic value. I do think the ending was really far-fetched. I think that the ending felt really rushed and was far-fetched. Did I enjoy it? Yes. And I kind of just suspended disbelief and went along with it. But was the ending far-fetched and rushed? Yes. So I kind of feel like if you wanted that ending, it needed to come into play earlier on in the book, or we could have just continued on where we were at, really. I haven't had the best things about books 2 and 3, so I want to carry on the series, but I'm kind of just stopping myself a little bit for a minute because I've not had the best things. So I will probably continue the series on, just need like a push to do it. So if you guys have read it and you really enjoyed it, please comment down below because I need that kind of motivation to carry on. Then another book which I do own physically but I don't have right now is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. And if you have seen any of my books so far this year around this, where this book was mentioned, you will know it was the first book I read in 2026 and it was the first 5-star of the year. I loved this book. I ate this book up. The characters, the romance, the story, the writing was just beautiful. I could not fault this book at all. It was exactly what I needed at the time. It gave me escapism and I just loved it. I just thought it was absolutely wonderful and I would highly recommend it. That's why I don't have it actually, because my best friend texted me the other day. She goes, I'm going on holiday next week. Can I borrow some books? And I was like, absolutely. What do you want? And she went, kind of want The Housemaid's 2 and then anything else. And so I gave her a selection of 4 books. I was like, here's 2 thrillers, the one that she wanted, the Woman in Cabin 10, which is obviously my favourite thriller if you've been around for a while. The Love Theoretically, which is my favourite romance of the year, and Malibu Rising because it's my favourite Taylor Jenkins read. And yeah, so I've lent it to her, but highly recommend, could not fault it. I do own it, but just not on me at the moment. Then we've got all of the ones in front of me. So I'm going to get into the books that we've got in front of me, give you a little bit of my thoughts, feelings, and yeah, let's discuss what books that I own physically that were in my 26 to read in 2026. Okay, so I'm really sorry if you can hear a hoover in the background. Mum is hoovering the house. As you know, I still live at home, and these things I just need to film when I've got time, and at the moment I've got a very short window of time to get this filming done, so please ignore the hoover. I will see if I can edit any of it out post-production, but if you can hear it, I'm sorry. So let's start from the top here. I've got Evenings and Weekends by Oisin McKenna. This is actually the most recent 26 and 2026 book that I have read. I listened to this one on audiobook and I really enjoyed it. We are following a cast of characters who have very mismatched journeys, very mismatched personalities and characteristics, and they are in London in a heatwave, and there's a whale stuck in the Thames, and you're kind of following them all centre around the whale stuck in the Thames, but their lives are all changing in different ways, and they've all got secrets and stories, and it's a literary book with messy characters that were just wonderful. I really enjoyed this book. I loved the writing. I picked this book up from Jack Edwards' suggestion and cannot fault it. It was incredible. So yeah, would highly recommend this book. Next, we've got a 5-star read of mine. It's The Correspondence by Virginia Evans. This book has been floating around kind of BookTube, Book Talk for a while now, and I love mixed media books. I love books that are told through the forms of letters, emails, kind of if you've got little snippets of stories, receipts, however, I love them. So to hear that this book was told completely through letters and correspondence, you cannot ask for a better book for me that I wanted to read. You cannot ask for a better book that I wanted to read. I was apprehensive of this book though, because I wasn't sure how someone's letters could tell such a full and vibrant and vivid story. How you could get the synopsis of someone's life through letters that pass through time, and you're not getting the everyday, you're hearing bits and pieces and snippets, but you really do learn the character of Sybil. I believe it is Sybil, yeah. You really do learn the character of Sybil. You learn her kind of values, her morals, her understandings, and you just cannot fault her. Like in the book, when it comes to the end, you can fault many of her actions, but you can't fault her kind of morals and characteristics, and I just felt enamored by this book. I could not put it down. I have been in a massive reading slump this year, kind of from January. I've really struggled, and this book was just perfect for that. It really did help me kind of get through this, and I read it physically, and I didn't want to stop reading it, and that is all we can ever ask from our books. So yeah, would highly recommend. Please, everyone needs to pick this book up. It is 100% worth the hype. I know it's been getting lots of hype on it online. People are kind of always a bit apprehensive when books get loads of hype, but it is 110% worth it. Moving on, we have Room by Emma Donoghue. I did not really know what this book was about, and I think going into this book, it's better to go into it not really knowing what it's about, other than it's about a little boy and his mum in a room. That's hence the title. But it's heartbreaking, it's sweet, it's scary, it's like enthralling, it's disgusting. It literally brings out so many emotions in you, and to see this family and to know that this is actually, unfortunately, the sad reality for a lot of people is just disgusting and sad but wonderful all at the same time. And I listened to the audiobook and I really enjoyed the audiobook, and you get a lot of this story from, or I think all of it actually is from the boy's point of view, so it's very simple, it's very simplistic the way that it's done, but in a way that it's meant to be. And yeah, cannot recommend it enough. Moving on, we've got Homecoming by Luann Goldie. I didn't love it. It was an okay book. It was a literary book. You're following unlikable characters, or characters that have made mistakes and are trying to rewrite pasts and find things out, and you realise that they've got a lot more cross connections than what you thought, which is wonderful, but it just wasn't really for me. I read it, I'm glad I've read it. It's been on my TBR for far too long, so I'm very glad to have read it. However, it's not really one that I would rush out, read again, or recommend. I'm kind of thinking about maybe donating it, giving it away. It's not really one that I'm going to rush back to. We have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This book is I think it's Sleepless in Seattle retelling, and I enjoyed the book. I liked the characters. The main female's daughter was just such a gem. She is the reason that this book kind of happened, and her character and her opinions and thoughts throughout the book were really witty and fun. I didn't like the length of this book. It is slightly longer side for a romance novel. It is just over 400 pages, so it's on your slightly longer side for a romance. I thought it was a bit too long. As I've said before, when it came to The Correspondent, I am such a mixed media reader that I thought there could be and should be more of the radio kind of snippets which you get in like script form rather than in a story form, so it's kind of says their name and what they're saying. I would have preferred a lot more of that in this book than necessarily the written chapters. I did really like the writing style. I did just think it was slightly too long, but I am looking forward to reading book 2. I've heard mixed things about book 2, but I like the characters that it's focusing on, so I'm hoping that we can get into that and enjoy that. Then we have Ellen Oliphant is Completely Fine. This book I've heard so many things about. I've heard it's been one of the books that have been kind of on my TBR for quite a while now, and I've been meaning to pick it up and I just never have, and I picked it up. I think I read some of it physically and some of it via audiobook, and I just absolutely loved it. Eleanor is an unusual and strange character, and she lives a very simple, simplistic life, and then things start happening where she changes things in her life, and you see her kind of develop and grow as a character. The character development in this book is just wonderful. At the start, she's never unlikable, she's just boring. At the start of the book, she's a very boring person. It's one of those people that you always go, if you go to work and if you're in an office, you're kind of just like, what did you do last night? And they're like, oh, just, and that's the same every day. And you look at them and you're like, you're wearing the same thing pretty much every day. You don't really lead a very interesting life. You're a bit boring. That is her. But she changes by the end of it, and it's just an incredible book. We then moved on to a book that was on this list because I have been avoiding it, and it's not one for my regular TBR. In fact, actually the next 2 books are like this. They're not part of my regular TBR genre. I've been avoiding them. This book as well, it's got an aquatic marine theme, and it's just not really for me. I am talking about A Tide of Treason by A.B. Daniels Anachi. I read this book, I think when I was reading books that I have been avoiding for a video, and I got very confused with all the characters, the world building and the setting, but I really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't for me, if that makes sense. So I enjoyed the book, I enjoyed the writing. I think if you're a fantasy lover or you enjoy fantasy, 100% pick this one up. You will probably eat it up, and it has got such great world setting. It is wonderful. However, it's just not for me. So it's a bit of a nuanced review this. Like, I really enjoyed it. I just didn't give it a high rating because I rate on vibes, and it just wasn't for me. It isn't a book for me. Do I think it's objectively a really good book? Yes. Did I enjoy it? Not really. But the next fantasy I did enjoy, and that is of course The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This book is chunky. This is why I've been avoiding it. Plus it's a fantasy. Plus I've just heard so many good things that my hopes were so high that I just wasn't sure. So with any book that I'm avoiding, with any kind of fantasy book, I always try and get the audiobook, purely for the fact that I just know it's going to help me read. I just know I'm going to get through this book if I read the audiobook. So I picked up the audiobook, I was listening to it, and I really enjoyed it. Seeing Addie's life kind of change and her kind of have the realization that she is more than just a vessel, basically, because no one ever remembers her. So she feels like she's kind of invincible, but also is not happy in that life. So seeing her develop like understanding and feelings and meet someone else that's like her was just beautiful. And yeah, it definitely deserves the hype. I would highly recommend it, and I think I'm actually going to read a bit more from V.E. Schwab because I really liked their writing style. Then our penultimate talking section is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clyweir. This book is a thriller horror genius. I still don't really know what happened in this story, but it was just incredible. It takes mixed media, Morse code, written like chapters, everything merged into one, psychologically just thrilling and confusing and just yes. I would highly recommend everyone should read it. It is an incredible book, and I feel like if you like a thriller, if you like a horror, then go grab your hands on this one. And our final section that we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about them in one because it is The Hunger Games. And the reason I'm talking about them in one, I'll put them in the right order, is because these will be in a dedicated reading vlog. I just haven't quite got around to editing and putting them all together. I think I will do the first trilogy in one, and then I will do The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping along with the films. So the second part won't come out until like November time, but I will be putting these up. It is a 5-star series. Suzanne Collins' writing is just incredible, and that is basically all I'm going to say on that, because I go into obviously full thoughts, feelings, non-spoiler in a full video for you guys. But yeah, as you can see, we have actually picked so far some great books for my 26 to read in 2026. I've not had many flops, and the ones that I did, I was kind of on the fence about anyway, so it is expected. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please comment down below any books that you are in my list that you think I need to get to, or any books that you guys are prioritizing this year. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.